Butters. Generic term for very good. Can be used on its own or part of a sentence. E.g., that Smith grind was butters. Biting. Blatantly copying someone's tricks. Bad skate etiquette. Ball bag. To look back at everyone after doing a good trick to make sure they saw it. Often done after biting. Pendo. Tying one's shoelaces very tightly. A bad case of this is referred to as tendinitis. Dweller. Someone who only skates at one spot, e.g. that guy dwells at the blocks. Well, that's it for this week, but I promise we'll be back properly next week as we teach you how to build your very own launch ramp. As you remember, last week I was going to a celebrity egg and spoon race, and of course I beat everyone. Well, Chris Evans tried to nobble me egg, but I caught him across the back of the head with my spoon. On this week's show, how to build your very own launch ramp. Launch ramp, or fly-off, or if you want the European terminology, blast ramp, has a massive history as it's so easy to build one and just stick it down your local car park. I've made this mouse-sized one just to show you, and isn't it just great? Firstly, you'll need to find some materials. You could buy some if you had a lot of cash, but that's a bit extravagant. Try just looking around local building sites, skips, just ask people, keep your eyes open. I did, and I found this. Wow, the right amount of materials and tools to build a launch ramp. What a coincidence. Material-wise, you'll need 8 of these chunky bits for struts, and maybe a slightly thinner one for the bottom. About 1/2 inch thick board, big enough to cut your side panels out. 1 or maybe 2 layers of thin ply, big enough to go over the surface area of the ramp. Firstly, find something bendy and straight to draw out the ramp shape on the side panels. Try not to make it too steep or too mellow. When you've marked your transition, you're ready to saw. You need to balance the wood on something. I've used this old wall and an old dirty school chair. And to cut the wood, I'm using this trusty handsaw. Or you could use a jigsaw or an electric saw, as long as you get someone to help you. Once you cut one out, mark up the second using the first one as a template, and repeat the process. Get a tape measure and mark up all the support pieces to the same width. About 2 foot is good. And cut to size. You can use nails or screws to build a ramp. Screws are stronger, but you may end up hammering them in anyway. This is your basic shell for your launch ramp. Now, next you want to start putting in the struts for the transition. Try and put them in, not too far apart, about that should do. And it's a good idea to put a thinner bit of batten flush with the bottom, as it takes a lot of impact. Lay the surface over the frame and mark off where to trim off any excess surface. Leave a little bit of the surface overlapping the bottom lip. Cut to size, then screw or nail into the struts. The top surface needs to be flush with the floor. This is achieved by planing or sanding the underside of the top surface until flush. On completion of your launch ramp, you can always personalise it, which is the fun bit. We went for the dull, subtle colour of bright orange. Looks a bit like cheese. To get started, and to get the feel of the ramp, just try riding off it, or doing some early grabs. This just means grabbing the board in advance to launching, as they are well easy and fun. Ollieing out of it is a bit more about adapting your technique, but you'll get the feel for it, and once you do, the possibilities are endless. Being transportable, you can use your ramp to get onto and over inaccessible objects, and all manner of weird tricks can be performed with the extra airtime. Now go off and play with your launch ramp. I expect for you to be lip sliding burning sheds by the weekend. And remember, all tricks are made a little bit harder by having your egg and spoon with you.